What's up, guys? I have been wanting to talk about this for a long time, and I finally get to, and I'm using this channel as a way to get into some extreme detail about it, and that is the new book that I have coming out called Up Toward the Light. And this book is, it's something that is near and dear to my heart. I have, Lord willing, several books that will come out in my future. I mean, if it was up to me, which it's not, but if I could choose the way that my life continues to go, it would be that I would put out a book every year or so and kind of rotate between what is called a trade book, which is like a river. That was a memoir. And then a gift book, which is what this one is, slash some kind of either coffee table slash devotional slash kid book. Those are all in the gift book realms. So if I could kind of rotate back and forth, you know, travel around, tell people about Jesus, serve my local church, write these books, maybe host a radio show and a podcast or two, shoot the Smiths. If I could limit my life to that, then that seems like a pretty good thing. Now, any of that could fall, and I would be fine. I'd still be content. But that's what I'm doing right now. And this book is connected to Like a River. So here's my point. I owed my publisher a kids book, and so I wrote one, and I actually really like it. And it's not related to Like a River at all, the kids book that I wrote. And I got to think literally I finished it, I turned it in, and we were gonna start working on illustrations. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna push pause on this project, on this new kids book, because it doesn't relate at all to Like a River. And when I come around to promoting it, which this comes out April the 2nd, when I come around to promoting it, it might be weird to completely change gears and be talking about a whole new subject, which that kid book is about. So they agreed, and I switched gears and I wrote another kid's book. So I've written two in just the last like 7-8 months. And so I wrote this one, and this one's called Up Toward the Light. And this one is directly related to Like a River. And those of y'all that have read it will know. If you haven't read Like a River, then well, that's fine. You don't have to. But there is a story inside Like a River where I was trying to understand the way I was responding to grief. And I went to write a note to a tree. And I sat down for a long time in these woods trying to write a letter to this tree. In fact, there is a YouTube video that Paul and I made about this very thing before Like a River, the book, was even out. And I'll show you a little clip of it right here. And so many, many other trees I didn't even know, and I'm not supposed to. All of them contributed to the very foundation that holds me upright. And so that was a true story, and that's exactly what I wrote as I was working through, kind of unpacking the thoughts in my head about what was going on. And as I was talking to this tree, it ended up being a very wise tree. And it started out, "Hi tree, I'm Granger." And the tree says, "Hi, Granger." And it ends up being, this tree is explaining to me that although we both need river, and we both love river, and we're both nourished by river, right? In the metaphorical way, me, my son, and the tree with the actual water. I come to realize that the tree is saying, even though you're nourished by river, even though you love river, you cannot focus on that or you will die. You have to focus up toward the light. Metaphorically, the tree is talking about the sun, S-U-N, and I come to understand it as the sun, S-O-N, right? So here comes this book, Up Toward the Light, this is the idea, except I changed it and I wrote it in terms of a little boy losing his grandpa, because it just didn't make sense to write that story. And I'm talking about losing my son, River, and the trees talking about, it didn't make any sense. So I wrote it with a different twist to it so that it could be more universal and it could be more relatable, especially to a kid. I've lost both of my grandpas, so this is also a true story for me. And I've also lost my dad. So it's a true story in the sense of I know what it's like to lose a father figure slash grandfather figure. And I also really love trees and acorns. Quick note, this dog here is technically Cooper from the Yee farm. We started it with it being Remy, my German short hair, but it didn't quite fit. The black and white didn't quite fit with the color scheme, so we switched it to a beagle. So there you go, it's a beagle. Laura Watkins, who did the illustrations on here, she's just fantastic. And we got to choose through several different artists that I felt like would meet the needs of this book in a creative way. So I went through many artists and looked through many different designs and then narrowed it down to a few. And then Laura, as I told her the idea of this book, she would come back with some images, and I finally decided, yeah, I want her. She's amazing, and I've never met her. She's actually in England. So you can see the first page here is going to be dedicated to River. To River, you taught me how to reach for the light. And then we open up, and that first page is just like so epic, you know? It's so epic, and I'm trying to show you on the camera, but her work it just really makes it come alive. So I'll show you how we started. Once there was a boy. The boy and his dog searched all the forest for one tree, a special tree. They walked behind the barn, hiked across the hayfield, folded over the fence, scraped through the cedar thicket, plodded up the bank, and there it was. Hi, tree. Hello, boy. So same type idea, but different subject. And then the boy says, Grandpa said you're a special tree. Is that true? The boy asked. I don't feel more special than other trees. The boy tilted his head back. You're taller than the other trees in the forest. What's it like way up there? Well, I could feel the sun before the other trees, and that's good, for the darkness disappears more quickly. But I'm closer to the wind and the lightning. That's a beautiful risk I take. I've seen trees much larger than you in other forests, the boy said. I've only seen this forest. Larger trees in other forests don't matter to me at all, replied the tree. It's just such, her imagery is just really epic in here. I love what she did and how we kind of bounced back, and it took a while to get the rhythm of the tree talking to the boy and how those words appear on each page so that you know who's talking, right? The boy spread his arms wide. I wish I could show you. The sequoias in California are ancient and incredible. Maybe there's a secret to growing as tall as them. I only know how to be a red oak in this forest, and I'm at peace with that. The boy sat against the tree's trunk and asked, how deep are your roots? As high as my trunk is tall, that's how deep my roots grow into the ground. And so this page is vertical instead of horizontal. It switches vertical, and you could see all the roots and all the things that are deep inside the soil. I love that part. And then this page just opens up really big into all the roots spreading across the whole page here. The boy stood again and placed his hand on the dense oak. Your roots must be strong to support your trunk. They aren't strong on their own, the tree explained. They're as fragile as my limbs, but I bury them in the soil and intertwine them with roots from other trees. When a storm comes, we lean on each other, and the rich soil holds us all together. Where did the soil come from? The boy asked. The soil is the history of this forest. It is made of the things we've let go of, fallen leaves, peeled bark, broken limbs from long ago trees that once stood where I do now. All the broken pieces joined together so that our roots can stand firm and we can grow taller and stronger. You see, the soil not only holds us together, but it also feeds our roots, says the tree. We're kind of building the idea here of what the soil is and what it will be that I'll explain later. A single leaf released from its branch and fell to the ground near the boy. Why do trees drop their leaves? Because in some seasons, we don't need them. When the time is right and the season passes, our bare branches give us space to grow new, brighter leaves, the tree said. The boy circled the tree. Then he looked around and saw all the colorful leaves and bare branches throughout the forest. Some trees have lost more leaves than others, and some trees don't have any leaves at all. But you still have some on top, the tree replied. How fast we lose our leaves is not important. A gust of wind or drop of rain could make some fall sooner than others, but eventually we'll lose them all, every last one. Yet a fallen leaf is never wasted. It joins the others on the ground to make the soil richer. And then the scene shifts and we get to the heart of the problem, right? The boy says, I wish I were a tree instead of a boy. I can't drop leaves like you. I only drop tears. Just like a leaf from a tree, no tear is ever wasted, the tree said. The boy replies, You may know a lot of things, tree, but you don't know what it was like to lose Grandpa. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. The tree rustles its leaves. Me neither. He planted my acorn when he was about your age. So we start to learn that the boy here and the tree both have a common connection with Grandpa. He raised both of them. The boy's eyes widened and he and his dog jumped up in surprise. Really, tree? Really, boy. Your grandpa watered my spout. He shielded me from the wind and heavy rains, and he protected my young leaves from rabbits and deer. When I was a sapling, he pruned my dead branches and covered my roots with fertile soil when they grew too shallow. I've been given a gift because I was loved by your grandpa. And then we kind of see all the years of grandpa and tree, starting with a sapling, which is, if you follow the Smiths, you know that I've got a bunch of these going on in the greenhouse right now, and then they come out. I literally grow from acorns, oak trees, and so this is a direct connection of what me and the kids actually do. I love trees. And then we get to the wisdom that the tree is wanting to share here. And you can see it just opens up into a big old picture here. The tree continued, My strength to grow never came from him. It comes from the sun. That's why your grandpa made sure I was growing up toward the sky and not down towards him. Depending on him too much would have put me in danger of losing the light. The boy let his head drop. I feel lost without him. What should I do? And you know what? If I read the whole thing, it would just give it away. But what Grandpa says and how we continue with this advice is the point of Up Toward the Light. It comes out April the 2nd. And I'll talk more about this on the Smiths, but I thought this would be a neat thing to sit here with you guys and share before anyone else sees it or knows about it. I thought this would be a good way to just show you my heart about this book, and hopefully it's something that is great for reading to kids or grandkids or even adults. And as adults read it to kids, we could maybe learn a thing or two about reaching up toward the light. So I hope you guys like it. You could pre-order it right now on Amazon or wherever you find books. But you know what? I need to say too that that's not what this video is about. It's not about, I hope I sell as many of these as I can. I do, just like a river, only in the sense that I hope it brings comfort to someone. Really, I hope it matters to someone. I hope it points you to reaching in the right direction. That's my heart in this. And so if you're like, hey, I don't buy books, I don't order books, then I say, that's okay. That's okay. I'm glad you watch this channel. But to those of you that do, I'm not asking, hey, please support me on this. I want this to be something I give to you, right? Now, obviously, I can't give away every one of them for free, so you got to buy it. But I don't know how much it is. Probably cheap. I don't know. I honestly don't know the price of it. But this is something I want the world to have, and not so much, hey, will you please support me, because I want you to help me sell a bunch of books, and then you don't ever read it, and it doesn't matter to you. That would completely defeat the purpose, and I would rather not write any books if that was the purpose of it, okay? So that's my heart in this, and I love you guys, and thank you for supporting this channel in a way that I could intimately bring you these new projects and show you before anyone else.
From the tailgate church pew.